Hey everyone, it's Kenji, and I'm gonna make some chilled corn soup. Corn and basil soup. So we had some, this new cafe, well, an old cafe with new owners just opened up near my house in Capitol Hill. The Volunteer Park Cafe, and we had this delicious chilled corn and basil soup from them, and I loved it so much I thought I'd make some myself at home. So I got corn. This is roughly based on a New York Times recipe, which I will put a link to. There's a paywall. It's not my recipe, but I'm making some substitution and a few changes. But I'm starting with corn. This is just raw corn, raw summer corn, and I have this bowl with a little plastic thing overturned inside to help me cut those kernels off without harming my knife. I know Alton Brown does this thing with a bunt pan, which works, although I find that sometimes you can accidentally knock your knife against the metal part of the bunt pan when you're using it to cut corn like this, so I prefer using a little plastic container, like a deli container. That way if your knife hits it, it's not going to hurt it really. All right, so this is 3 ears worth of corn I got going, more or less. You can do, adjust it to your taste or how much you're making or whatever. I got a clove of garlic, got a big handful of fresh basil. I got 3 ears of corn going in. This recipe is extraordinarily simple. All it needs is a blender, really. The more powerful the blender, the better for something like this, because I like my pureed soups to be nice and smooth, especially if they're going to be cold. But a regular blender will work, if you don't have like a Vitamix or whatever. Just like a regular blender should work fine. It just might be a little rougher. All right, a few scallions that have seen better days, but really roughly chopped up. In they go. I'm using some yogurt. Like maybe 3/4 of a cup of yogurt. I think the New York Times recipe calls for buttermilk, but I don't have any. So I'm doing a mixture of yogurt and milk. So 3/4 of a cup of each. About. Some lime juice. One lime's worth of juice. Salt and pepper, of course. And I'm going to put some olive oil. Maybe a 1/4 cup or so. And finally, some ice. All right, so that's gonna be it. Let's see what happens now, huh? Might have to adjust the consistency a bit, but I think it should be okay. So we're just gonna let this blend. I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear what's going on while I do this, but always start your blender low. And then increase the heats, increase the speed slowly. That way you don't explode things. Making like a corn and basil smoothie. I think we are smooth enough, probably. I'm going to pour this through a chinois, just so that we're extra smooth. Bowl, chinois. So these things are called chinois. They're used in restaurants. You don't necessarily need one at home, but they are much finer than a regular fine mesh strainer. Okay? And so when you use a chinois, you get a ladle like that. Go Get your soup in there. And then there's a couple ways you can do it. You can wrap it like this, and that'll get things through. You can also push the ladle in there and kind of push it up and down. The former method, the wrapping, will actually get you sort of smoother results because the ladle kind of forces things through the small holes. So if you want like the ultimate in smooth results, do the wrapping method and then just discard whatever doesn't go through. But pushing it will get you better yield, and it'll still be plenty smooth for our needs. Can we fit it all in there? Looks good. Pushing things through chinois is a task that restaurant cooks do over and over and over. This is one of those things that you do in a restaurant, but you very rarely need to do at home, or would do at home. I don't know how many people at home have a chinois anyway. But if you've ever wondered why the sauces and the soups and stuff at restaurants are so velvety smooth, chinois is the answer. All right, we're getting down to the end here. Corn, you know, especially raw corn, always has that that I think it's called the pericarp, but the bit of it that you can't digest. You know, the stuff that when you eat, you're going to see it again in 12 hours. But that part is what is basically what's going to end up here in the chinois. All this stuff that you can't really digest and distracts from the texture of the soup. That's why I like to get rid of it, but you know, it's fine even if you don't. All right. Let's see how we taste. So we can adjust seasoning if necessary. That is delicious. Sweet. You know, it'd be really good in this also is if I had like a chili, like a serrano or a jalapeno, something like that. All right, let me get some in a bowl. If you want something crunchy to garnish this up with, you could do like radish, thinly shaved fennel would work. You know, any kind of crunchy, jicama would be great. Any kind of crunchy vegetable that you can chop up and garnish this with. But I'm just gonna go with good old extra virgin pepper. Shall we taste it over here? Beautiful, right? That's like a perfect summer soup for a hot day. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, I will see you next time, and Shabu and One will see you too. All right, bye-bye.